Hey, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. Got a good show for you here tonight. Of course, I'm Mike Spider Slayer, and we got two of my best friends right here. And I got Comic Uno and Brant Fowler from Only Good Comics. How you guys doing today?
We're doing good. I know there's a lot of cool stuff to talk about today, so that's always fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. How you doing, Brant?
I'm doing good, doing well.
Good, and hopefully the viewers out here are doing very well also, and hopefully you'll have a fun show with us. Of course, always comment and leave your questions, and we'll try to get to you as much as we possibly can. We got a few news pieces, not too much news, but we do have more than 2 or 3, right? I think that's a plus at least anyway. And then we also got a good topic today when it comes to obviously the Marvel and DC comic, and then obviously sales when it comes to DC outselling Marvel and things like that. So yeah, I think it will be a fun discussion today. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it over to Kat, and we're going to jump right into this news, guys.
Yes, we only have one media news piece, which is that Black Lightning's Tobias from the television show, his actor's name is Marvin Jones III, is actually going to be playing Tombstone in the new Spider-Man movie. And I actually thought this was perfect casting. It's interesting to see, right? And it's interesting to see the blending of the different universes, because obviously he played such a great villain in Black Lightning, to be like, okay, let's put him in Spider-Man. And yeah, he's such a great actor. I'm excited for people to get to know him.
Yeah. It's brilliant casting for Tombstone. It just makes perfect sense. And
I totally missed this news piece, so
yeah,
I'm like, okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah, this one's a new one. This is, I think, today. It was.
Okay, so that's why I missed it.
No.
I believe he's an albino black man, correct?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. So it's like perfect for Tombstone. Which is
okay. Now I click on the image and I see. Yeah. All right. Okay.
So it's pretty cool, and he is a really good actor.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, and it seems like it's gonna be a cool movie. But I also heard that Tom Holland cracked his skull during filming.
Well, he's got a mild concussion.
Yeah, mild concussion. No, but he also cracked his skull with the concussion.
Oh,
he did
really?
both. Yeah. So it's a concussion, but it was also that he cracked his head. So that's why they had
what happens when you play Spider-Man.
And that's true.
My brother cracked his skull when he was 14, skateboarding accident.
Oh man, I feel like if it's a minor, hopefully it's not a minor injury. It's not too bad, but gotta be careful with those stuff.
He was unconscious for a while, but he's okay now. He's good.
he's not skateboarding anymore.
No,
hopefully.
No, definitely not. Been a while.
We do have another media question. The infamous Mike Manhattan X. Have you guys seen The Long Walk? I've heard good stuff about it. I know it's like a post-apocalyptic boys type movie.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it though. Yeah. I want to see the new Leonardo DiCaprio movie. I'm probably going to see that next week to kind of get into it, because I've heard really good stuff about it. I've not been to the theater as much as I'd like to. And there also hasn't been anything crazy coming out recently. So I don't feel like I'm missing that much.
Yeah, it's the time of year now where it's kind of slow, Yeah,
it winds down. And then obviously November, you got your Wickeds and everything. So there'll be plenty of stuff. I don't think there's another superhero movie. I know Zootopia comes out.
No, I think we're done with them now for the year. Yeah.
Yeah, no more superhero stuff, which is fine. We had a lot during the summer. But yeah, let's get into our media news here. So Knull is getting his own comic book series, and it is written by Al Ewing, Tom Waltz, who did a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff. And then the artist is Juanon Ramirez. I don't know what they worked on the Eddie Brock book. Okay. I'm interested to see where it's going to go. I've really liked Al Ewing's stuff that he's been doing with Venom, and Tom Waltz is an interesting one to add. So I'll probably pick up the first issue, because I know obviously we know the next issue of Venom is going to be probably the connection.
Probably spins out of that. Yeah. I would assume. It makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm excited to learn a little bit more about Knull as a character. Obviously in the main event, he was there. He took over went to go take over the world or whatever it is. You kind of get a synopsis of kind of what he is and how he was imprisoned and stuff like that. But I do want to see the return of him and get to know him and see him, and hopefully, it'll be an enjoyable miniseries. And curious to see what we're gonna get out of it though. Like, what is gonna be the long term for the character? You know?
I really like this Ryan Stegman cover. I'll say that. But yeah, no, I agree. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with the character.
Didn't Ryan Stegman do the series though? He did the
Yeah.
the
King in
whole
Black and everything.
the King in Black
Right.
and all in the Venom series. So
Right.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the next thing, which is we have 2 cancellations, and I'm always happy when they tell you about the cancellations. I think they're both bleeding cool that I found them out, but I hate when you just like turn the page and you find out the book's canceled. So it's
Right.
nice to get some warning. And it's Green Arrow and Birds of Prey. I don't think either I'm surprised by. I was a bit disappointed with the Green Arrow. I did not continue reading it, and it's always a shame to see those series canceled. And I think Joshua Williamson did the best with the character, and then kind of obviously went a little down when they got a new creative team. And Birds of Prey, I really like the book. I think it's a fun one, but it's also nothing that ever like hit my top 5 very often. It was very middling of the road, so I think that might have taken its time as well.
I think you had to be fans of those characters like you and me, Pat, to really appreciate that book. And unfortunately, it seems like there wasn't enough of us to keep that book afloat. But it lasted, quite a bit.
That and the artwork was not as strong for like the first 15 issues. They had that like very jarring art style, which was the artist of West Coast Avengers, but the coloring was really strange for it. So I think that really took a lot of people out.
Yeah. The funny thing is like just the other day, I was doing a video series and I was talking about Birds of Prey, and I was like, man, Kelly Thompson's done pretty good with Birds of Prey. And then it's like, and then I found out, I was like, oh shit, did I like literally jinx it? Because it's getting canceled. I was like,
it was funny because if you read her newsletter, she pretty much said that if she repitched the series, they could have continued it. But she was just like, there's so much on my plate. It almost wasn't worth repitching it and making another issue 1. So it was an interesting circumstance because it doesn't seem like it was like sales are so low that it got canceled and it was finite. But it seemed like it was more of a Kelly Thompson decision at the same time where it's like, we could have relaunched this, but I am doing Absolute Wonder Woman and all these other titles.
Yeah, I think Absolute Wonder Woman is her like main title now too. So it's like, they're probably going to want her on there as long as she possibly can do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also she was saying in the newsletter that she was pitching another book, and she's like, obviously we don't know if it's going to go through, but if it does, it's going to be like a really big book. So I think she was also preparing for pitching another book on top of working on Birds of Prey. And also Birds of Prey had its time to sing, it got an Eisner when it was first out. So at that point, how long do you want to run to go? It's always that golden question, especially in superhero books.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
none of us read Green Arrow, right?
Yeah, I read the first of the couple issues, and actually I only fell off of it because my shop didn't they received it, but I think by the time I got to the shop, it was like they sold out of the copies that they had, and then I felt like 2 issues behind, 3 issues behind, and then I was at the point where I was like, okay, I'm just not going to read this, Yeah,
it was similar with me. It was one of those books that it was always like, I'll read it if I have time. And then eventually I just stopped getting it because I wasn't reading it. So,
yeah. So.
All right, let's move on to next thing, which is DC in December is doing even more with the KO stuff. And this seems like more what we thought the actual book was going to be. This is all fight month and it's actual rounds. The thing I don't love about this, I feel like they're spoiling a little bit of who's going into the next rounds because this is December. So of course, like these are probably going to be the people going forward. So I thought that spoiled a little bit, which I didn't love.
Yeah, I'm hoping there's some kind of twist or swerve that, explains that.
I didn't look too much into it.
Yeah,
I just kind of briefly glanced at it and I was like, all right, well, we'll see. I mean, is it like literally all fighting though? Like
it looks like it.
I'm okay with that. Like I'm totally fine with that. Like that's kind of like what I was hoping for out of this event was just these cool battles and interactions with all the characters, and I'm loving it. I am all on board no matter what.
Yeah, no, I'm interested in it for sure. It's interesting because I was doing my list, and we can actually talk about this next. Let's do this as our next topic, Shadow of Tomorrow, which is the upcoming X-Men event. And I was going to say, it's really funny. I was making my list for the X-Men books, and I feel like I have to get all these issue 1s, but I'm so not excited for it. And the only reason I'm getting all the issue 1s because I genuinely don't know what this event is. So I'm just like, oh, I don't want to miss out on a good book. So I'll read all the issue 1s, but there's not an excitement level. This, it feels like, oh, I'm actually excited to pick up every issue of this because I want to see the battles. I want to see what it's about. So it's like such a different reason of picking up every issue 1. And again, like with the X-Men books, I'm sure I'll pick up all the issue 1s or most of them and leave myself off with like 3 by the end, you know?
I'm not picking up. There's 16 of them.
There's
like I'm not picking up all of them. Like I'm picking up Age of Revelation, I guess whatever the main book is. And then I'm picking up like very specific ones like obviously the Spider-Man one, I'm picking up like which would be the main X-Men book, or you know what I'm saying? And just like I'm not picking up the Quentin Quire one. I don't know if I'm gonna pick up honestly the Storm or Rogue one. Like there's a lot of them that I'm just kind of like I don't know. You know, I am picking up the Sinister Six one because I think that might be kind of cool. So it might be maybe like 5 or 6 of them, maybe a little bit more, but there's no way I'm getting all 16 of them. That's crazy. That's a lot.
No, I had to drop a few already. Like I was like, yeah, Storm, the Quentin Quire one was one that I wasn't getting. But I remember Sinister Six, and when I was interested writing in it was, let me actually see what it is because I know someone interesting writing it. I was like, oh man, I should get that one. So there's definitely some hard choices, but yeah, it's just way too many. Sinister Six is written by David Marquez. I love David Marquez.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I kind of want to see how he writes that. We'll see. I'll
get the Laura Kinney one because I want to see why he like kind of goes to Sabretooth's side. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of want to see that. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those things. And you don't have any idea how long any of these stories are. If there were miniseries, like to where they're 4 issues, 2 issues, 1 shots, like I have no idea what these things are, you know?
And they're already preventing from the stories that we've been reading. Like I've been enjoying Exceptional X-Men, and then that arc ended. I'm like, oh, it seemed like there was so much more that they were going to say. And then they abruptly end this book. And now they're going to spin into this title that I don't really care about. And it's just like, I don't really know what the direction is or even why this is happening. And that goes into this almost other event they're doing. And they're, announcing a Cyclops book and stuff like that. And it's Shadow of Tomorrow. And it's like, just give me good X-Men books. It's just the next
initiative because this initiative I don't think it did as well as they expected it to do, you know.
There's too many titles.
Yeah, it is too much. And now I think from what I read, I think they're bringing back Uncanny X-Men, and then they're going to be bringing I think they might be bringing back Magic.
They said, that's not going to be canceled.
But Exceptional X-Men, they're not sure if that's coming back either. So I think there's only going to be a couple of titles that are coming back that were discontinued. Mm-hmm. But it is what it is. I just the key, and we've talked about it so many times, though, it's not how many titles you can produce. It's just the quality of them,
I would be talking about that soon, about some of the, our title of this, of the episode.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I think if you only had 3 X titles, that would be fine. You don't need every character to have their own individual series. A lot of these characters were only meant to be really on teams. I know it's like every once in a while you want to explore a character, but maybe do it in a lengthy span. Don't do it in all at once.
And there should be a reason. It should spin out of maybe a title or whatever. Like one thing I really liked about the Kitty book, and again, I know I am biased on Kitty Pryde, but I like that it felt different from the other ones. It was her saying, I don't want to be part of the X-Men anymore. So it felt very outside of the X-Men. But then if you have Magic, it's like, okay, it's similar to what we've seen with her in New Mutants or whatever. It didn't feel different to me. I haven't been reading Storm or Phoenix, so I can't speak on those, but I'll say most of the individual series I've ever read, they all feel like, oh, do we actually need a solo series? I don't know. But it's hard because everyone has their favorites, because you can say, oh, Storm doesn't need a solo series. And everyone's like, wait, Storm's actually great. And I love Storm. So it's hard, but I definitely, in my mind, at least what would help is to have less team books. I think have the Uncanny and X-Men, and that is it. And if you want to do your solo books, do like 3 and just call it a day. Like have 6 books, and that's
this
it.
Comment here from Barry says the Wolverine one looks meh. So that one has it continues the Wendigo storyline. So like it's like, okay, so you did an opening arc for Wolverine that had to do with that kid. He wound up being cured, and now for some reason he's like that doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't really care enough to sit there and go, man, I cared about that Wendigo kid, in that first 4 issues. I gotta read more of that,
That story made me drop the book. I didn't like the character. That's crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know. It also just doesn't feel like I know there has been hype for the X-Men stuff, but it doesn't feel like as big as like the DC
No,
games.
definitely not.
It doesn't feel like they put a lot of effort into it. It's just like you all said, they've thrown a lot of books at us and said, pick all these up. You can't miss them. And it's just like,
and none of them are connected.
Right.
Nothing feels too big.
Yeah.
I mean, if I go back to it right now, honestly, at this point, since it's all fallen apart, at least Krakoa, and I know like you had to read a lot of titles to kind of understand it, but Krakoa early on was really strong. As it got
when Hickman was on it,
when Hickman was on it, it was really good. You're talking just over a year that this new initiative has been released, and it's already getting restarted. We had all these titles being announced, and look at how many got canceled already, and now are being canceled, and then they're going to restart. So that's not a good thing in my eyes at all.
There just needs to be a vision, and I feel like that has always been the issue with, even if you look at Uncanny and X-Men, even if you enjoy the character arcs, it just doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. There's no like, where is this like taking us from a character standpoint? There's all just arcs, which I get, like that was old comics, right? It's like, here's an arc and that just happens. But nowadays, especially with the serialized storytelling, and there's just so much media, you want to have a destination. Think about Al Ewing's Venom, which is the soap opera. There's a destination for the arcs. It's like, okay, Mary Jane's going to break up with Paul. Mary Jane has to make a relationship with Venom. And then there's all these other characters around. Dylan. It's like, even with that being as soap opera of a book as it is, it still had somewhere to go,
I mean, when you look at X-Men back in the day, though, like, yeah, they had their arcs, but the characters developed.
Yeah.
That's what made X-Men so popular, was because the characters had their arcs within the X-Men storyline, and the characters grew within the series. But that all goes to a consistent writer, and a writer that wanted to produce these great characters, right? I mean, and continue to develop them. And that's the problem I think that we run into, is that we get a new writer on a book like every year or so, and these characters don't really get a chance to develop. They tell literally one story, and then it's just, I'm done with the book, and let's bring on the new person. And then they have their story or their vision. There's no more writers you're not going to see a Chris Claremont ever again. And I think that's the difference. And there's been so much that's been done with the X-Men, and a lot of the Marvel characters, you can say that even in the big 2, that I think they're just out of ideas. I think it really is hard, I don't know. I don't know what to say what the solution is.
I don't even know if it's ideas. I think it's more of like, oh, well, you have to put them back in the box. You have to do this. They have to be the same. And it's like, you can still be the core character and not be the same, or else like you have to have some sort of growth.
Or you got to get somebody that really enjoys these characters, like like Daniel Warren Johnson did for Transformers,
or Rainbow with Runaways.
Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. If you find that right writer that wants to write these characters and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to spend the next 5 years on this book because I love this and I want to get this back, then you might get something going there.
Rainbow with Runaways is actually a perfect example. Obviously, Transformers is too, but I want to put that to the side because Transformers is not a Marvel DC book. They kind of can grow because of what franchise they are. So I want to talk about Rainbow. I think that's a really good example of a book that was able to grow. Every issue, there was something new happening. They were introducing new characters and it meant something. And honestly, the reason being is because no one really cares where Carolina is or Nico. Like only fans do. So it's like you could do whatever you want. They're not Spider-Man. They're not, even Kitty, for some reason, you can't do as much with her. It's like they are small enough characters where you actually could do things with them, which is why that storytelling is always so fun to read, because you're like, I don't know what's going to happen next, and I don't know where they're going to go next. And that's the type of stories I want to read. That's like what we're reading in the indie books right now, what we're reading in Transformers, you know? And I think that's where, and even why people have been loving Absolute, because you genuinely don't know where that series is going to go and where the storytelling is going to go. And that does, and I will talk about, let's talk about Absolute Joker, and then we'll go into our big topic.
Real quick, side note, we went to Half Price Books the other day, and I actually picked up a couple of Rainbow's novels. I haven't read them yet.
Oh, nice.
But I'm looking forward to them. I just want to but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I want to hear how they are, because I've never read her novels, but I can only imagine they're well written from what we get to see from Rainbow. But yeah, Absolute Joker, it's interesting that I'm trying to find the link that we can actually get the look. It's funny because like all my friends that don't read comics but are on social media that I guess see some comic stuff, they're like, so what's this Absolute Batman? What's going on? And then one of my other friends was just like, oh, Joker looks crazy. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't think the Joker's like really been a big part. And then I saw literally an hour later, it's like, oh wait, we actually have this big reveal that we have of the Joker. So let me see if I could screen share. Actually, Brant, could you screen share, because I have a new computer and it's telling me I have to access stuff that I don't want to do right now. So let's
the whole link.
Just screen share the visuals of what the Joker stuff is looking like. But yeah, he looks crazy. You know, he looks like a true monster, which is interesting. Because I know he's shown up in the shadows in some previous issues, but I think supposedly he's gonna like really fully show up soon. December.
Dude, how does he like even become that? That's like insane.
That is crazy. So let me switch to some of the others.
Do you guys feel like Absolute's a better single issue series, or do you feel like it's a better trade read? Because that was something I was trying to recommend to a friend where they love Batman, my business partner, and he's like, oh, I really feel like I should read Absolute. And I'm like, honestly, I feel like you kind of have the perfect way to read Absolute, because I feel like it's such a good trade read, because there's some issues that are a little slow, but then I feel like it to the full picture, it's really good.
I like it as a single issue. I don't mind it. Like I don't ever forget what goes on in it after an issue. So I like it that way, and I like that it kind of gives me that old school classic comic feel. Like you get done reading an issue and you're like, dude, I want to see what happens next after this. So like it leaves you with a good cliffhanger, and there's something about Absolute that is just like it has the familiar vibe, but all these characters are just different enough to keep you guessing and seeing what's next, or what are they going to change, or what's going to be different about it. And, you know, for instance, this Joker character, like, oh my God, like what happened to him? And just like even Killer Croc in the last issue, like that was absolutely insane as well. Like I love that book. I do like the Absolute universe just in general. I think it's good for everybody. I think it's good for long-term readers. I think it's good for new readers. I think it's just overall it's fun and it's good.
Because again, it's able to do something different, which I think is just again what we're just been looking for, is like, all right, I just want a different type of storytelling and making Alfred who he is, and then having Martha still alive. And I think those are elements to be like, oh, this is cool. This is something a little different. And the artwork is really haunting. So yeah, I can understand why people love it as much as they do. And like I said, I do like the series, but I think it's like Walking Dead in some ways for me, where it's like the television show. I didn't read the comic as much, but like there's an episode out of like 5, you're like, wow, I get where they're building to. That was such a good episode. And same thing for here. Like I feel like there's a lot of build up. So, but once you get to that issue, you're like, oh, that was a really good issue, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's also good because it's not just putting, the familiar version of Batman into another situation or another
Yeah.
world being the same person. It's completely reimagining the character, all the characters.
And I think what I like about all the other ones too, and it's because it just does focus on them, right? It's just Batman, it's just Martian Manhunter, it's just Wonder Woman, it's just Flash, and you're really trying to develop these versions of these characters before you do any kind of team ups or crossovers or anything like that. So you have a good feel of these guys,
Because
so
then
it's
it'll
not
feel
really
bigger
overwhelming.
too.
What's
Like
that?
then it'll feel
When they
bigger
do
once they
crossover,
do
yeah.
crossover.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because I know we have Absolute Evil coming out soon. I think that'll be probably the start of like, this is where it's connected. But now it feels like time. It's been over a year. You're like, oh yeah, now I kind of want to see where it's connected. And it feels, and I don't know, I think Ultimate Incursions came out this week. Did it? No, it came out last. It came out last week. That's like a perfect example of like the opposite of what you want, where like you're waiting so long, like Ultimate Universe is back, and then you have a book that's like not exactly what you expected and doesn't feel very
I'm
big.
going after my kid's sister.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's a good example.
Come across the Ultimate Universe characters, like it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't go right.
So that brings us, and I feel like we've been, circling the drain here with this, anyways. But Batman issue 1 breaks 500,000 copies ahead of Batman Day, which, if they're telling you how many copies they sold, it's a lot. That's also a hardship of post-COVID, is that we used to know the exact numbers of at least physical books.
Yeah.
So now we don't. So it's hard to be like, is it outselling Marvel? Because we don't know. But I will say that them announcing that they sold 500,000 books, I think is proof that they're doing really well. And obviously that is a lot of books. So, and it was a great book. And I think that's the whole point of like, why are they outselling Marvel? Most likely is because it built up to a good story. Oh, you got the big one? That's funny.
Got the big one, man. This thing is just absolutely, it's like you can't imagine how big it is until you like open it up and like it's just it takes up my whole screen, man.
No, it's a cool collection.
Really is so awesome. Like I wasn't gonna buy it at first, but then I'm like, you know what? When you have it in your hands, it's just like, wow, it really pops up at you. It's just a kind of a nice.
You got to figure a bag and board.
Yeah, I have a good place to put it where it's not in a bag and board, but it is like in between two bookshelves, so it doesn't like get bent or anything. So, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it was only $15. It wasn't bad for that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Especially because like a lot, again, you get an anthology, it's like $10. But
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's really cool to see. And someone described it as like anime, and I do think that's, especially with Absolute Batman, like that's what feels really big about it. And Batman issue 1, I think it was just Matt Fraction being back. It's been a really long time. You still have Jorge Jimenez. I think it was just a lot of things. And I think it's DC getting trust again. I think people are like, you got a random Batman issue 1 3 years ago, be like, I've done this before. I don't need to read this. But now it's like, well, Absolute Batman's really good. This book's really good. Superman's great. I don't want to miss out. And I think that's where we're here at. And that's something I think DC's been building for 2 years. And I think that's what you need to know, is that it's not going to happen in a month just because you have one good book or one ultimate book that's good. It's building trust with your fans again. And I think Marvel really needs to do that again. Because honestly, yeah, if I wasn't a huge Spider-Man fan, I don't know if I would be getting the next Spider-Man book. And that you have to be a really big fan and want to get the next Spider-Man book at these days, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, you were talking about these sales when it comes to DC, and when you look at, how many copies one book can sell, 500,000 copies these days.
Which I think is only physical. That's not even digital.
Yeah. Right. I think that is fantastic. It's really awesome. And I think if you probably went across the board and you look at all the books that they have sold since All In started, right? I think it's probably been phenomenal because it got people to jump on series again. And then with the Absolute Universe, obviously there's a lot of people buying those books on top of it. You're about
not even reading comics. Like people knowing about Absolute that aren't going to the comic store.
You're getting a new audience, and that's what you want. That's how you continue this hobby. But then you got DCKO, which is getting people excited, and so you got the Justice League right now that's probably, or Justice League Unlimited, that's going to tie into that. Like if there's a prelude issue that's coming out, but there's a lot of great things that they're doing. And I think right now they have the better writers. I think they have the better artists. I think overall they have less books, but better quality. And for the past year and a half, since basically All In and Absolute, I can say that I'm obviously enjoying DC way more than Marvel right now, like way more.
And I don't know. This is kind of my take on it. It feels like DC is not trying to compete; they're just trying to put out good quality stuff. Where Marvel, it feels like they're competing with themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's
Or
just,
they're just going through the motions. I
Yeah.
don't even know what they're doing. That's the problem. Like, what's going on?
and just for anybody new to the stream, we're all Marvel people, so that's we're coming from that place. Just to put that out there. So it's hard to watch sometimes because it's like you want to love all the content that they're putting out. But
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. I mean, so when you look at it, it's like, well, so what is Marvel's best-selling book right now? Well, it's got to be Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And
My
that,
guess.
and that is ending in 4 issues.
which is insane.
Right. And so
The creative team, I think it's done. I think that's the big official. Like that's what it seems like with the solicits. I'm sure we'll get another Ultimate Spider-Man, but the reason it's so good is because it's the writer and artist. Really, you'd have to do something crazy phenomenal with a new creative team, like you did with Transformers. Where you're like, oh yeah, Dan Moore and Robert Kirkman, great. But yeah, it's not going to be the same. And it's the one thing I wish Marvel honestly would lean into more at this point is like, if you're not going to give us the biggest Amazing Spider-Mans, the biggest Iron Mans or whatever, at least like lean into cult favorite characters. Cause at least then you have that. Cause we don't even have that. We just have 20 mediocre Spider-Man books. I'm like, give us your fucking Squirrel Girls at this point. Guess what? Hawkeye was great. Think about Matt Fraction's Hawkeye. That's a great example of like, give me a character. It doesn't even have to be Spider-Man. Just give me a good comic.
Well, that's the example like I make with like Benjamin Percy, like, and we touched on it briefly last week. I mean, we had that Punisher book come out, right? And it was like, look at where Benjamin Percy is. He's kind of doing what Kat is talking about. Like he's doing the Red Hulks, he's doing the Ghost Riders, he's doing the Punishers. He did the Sabretooth War. He wrote Wolverine for a while, like Predator versus Spider-Man, like in the Predator versus, like he's doing, that's like his thing, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you need someone else to write something else. I don't know, go to a different side or whatever. But I don't know, man. It's just like, there's just something there that's just not right. And I'm not going to say that like Amazing Spider-Man is this horrible comic book. It's not. I feel like it's starting to get back on track, but is Amazing Spider-Man the comic book where it's okay? Or are we accepting that these days? It should be great. It should be like Ultimate Spider-Man where you look forward to it every single issue. It should not be just okay. This is your flagship book, your number one character. And it's been too long since things have been just okay.
And a lot of that is not the fault of the writers too, because they're so hampered by, you can't use this character, you can't use that character. These supporting cast, they can't show them. You got to have Spidey here. You got to do this with him because we got to have him here. It's a lot of. It feels like it's a lot of.
Well, because how is it possible that all these writers that you're hiring are all mediocre? They're
right.
Not. They're great writers.
Yeah, exactly. Especially given the writers that have been on that book, it's just not possible.
I do want to read the infamous Mike Manhattan. If Green Arrow can sell what hope for Squirrel Girl. Think about that Unbreakable Squirrel Girl. That's a good example of a book that was really big also in the trade market. Like that's something you have to really, really know in comics, especially. The floppies are not where people make money. It is the trade. So if you could find an outside market, outside the comic book store, obviously we're the Wednesday Warriors, but where the money's actually at is the Barnes and Nobles and the other people buying these books. So something like Unbreakable Squirrel Girl did really well, like when that came out. I don't like Squirrel Girl that much. This is just an example, or Hawkeye. No one thought a Hawkeye series would do as well as it did and then span out of a TV show. The whole point is maybe Marvel has to take an indie approach because they've got to do something different. They can't continue to do what they're doing and also target different audiences. They're all on Webtoon right now. Marvel is like releasing a lot of their newer titles, but they're releasing the John Romita Jr. Spider-Man on there. Do you think 15-year-old, 6-year-old kids are going to want to read that? Probably not. But would they read a Runaways? Probably. They're going to relate to that on a Webtoon. And guess what? You're building an audience that way. I just think Marvel needs to find a new avenue. So that's what I meant by that. And maybe that's with Spider-Man. Maybe that is with Iron Man. But they don't seem to want to touch them and do anything different. So maybe do something different with the other characters at least. Bring back Miss Marvel. I mean, why the hell is she in the X-Men right now? Why does she not have her own series? Think about how popular that series was when G. Willow Wilson was writing it.
And that's G. Willow Wilson, though. I don't think
get good creators
traction that it gets with everybody else. And that's why people like that character to begin with, because you had to create her and develop her, and now it hasn't been the same since.
Again, you just got to find the right creator. Brian K. Vaughan, nobody could do Runaways like Brian K. Vaughan, and then Rainbow came along. And it's like, okay, it's different, but it's just as good. It's
the same with, like, you talked about Hawkeye. You had Mac Fraction go on there, but then you had an artist that put its unique spin on it. And you made it very grounded with Kate and then Pizza Dog and everybody else and the Track Star Bros and everything else. And so, like, that was such a fun series, and I absolutely loved it. I just also think that you do need to find other talent, other writers out there, because, if you put the same people on the same books and just renumber it, you're really not going to get anything different. You're still going to get that same flavor, So I just feel like sometimes you need a new talent pool. And when you do, that's when, like, again, we go back to Daniel Warren Johnson, because he's one of the newer writers out there, right? It took a little while for him to get discovered, but when he came out with Murder Falcon and then you guys started reading Do a Powerbomb, you're like, holy cow, like, look, like this book is amazing, and so it's just how it is, and then it's the same thing with, like, I'll put it out there, like Mark Spears Monsters. Like, his artwork is unique, it's different, right? I wouldn't say maybe it's the strongest, like, in writing, but I tell you what, the art is mesmerizing. You love looking at the book, and it's something new. And I think that's what readers need. They need some new writers, new artists, and get, fresh eyes and fresh stories. And I just don't think we have enough of it.
Yeah.
Well, look at Tony Fleecs on The Thing. Like, I mean, no one's talking about it, but that's a series all three of us really like.
All the time. Yeah.
When Joshua Williamson was doing Birthright and stuff, and then he moved on to everything he's doing now and all that, and Jeremy Adams is another name that's, coming up.
When Donny Cates first came on too, and then he did, like, Silver Surfer Black and Cosmic Ghost Rider, and just, like, that's what you need. You need things to, spark ideas, and sometimes you just don't get it, and you got to get some new people in there.
And if I'm being honest, again, I don't know the inner workings of Marvel, but from what I'm seeing, I feel like you need more books where the creator is pitching them and not the other way around, because it does feel a lot like Marvel's pitching other writers and artists, be like, can you do this? But I think you need a lot of the other round and be like, this is my dream story. This is what I've wanted to tell. Like, let me do it. And then you're going to get great stories that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's our conversation about the sales. I think we're going to be having it for a long time, but I think let's just see DC continue doing its thing. Let's see creators first, because that's really what I'm seeing. I'm seeing Scott Snyder building and, being a big part of building an empire for DC Comics. And that's why it's being so successful. And yeah, that's all we want is good storytelling and to make this industry survive and people to get excited for it, because it's all I want. I'm kind of, and as I'm 30, going to be 31, so I'm getting there now, but, like, I want to see younger people at the comic book store. Like, it's, I think we just need different people to come in, or even older people. I just want new faces. I see the same people over and over again, and we just need new people to read comic books.
Yeah. I mean, see, there's this comment here that Lewis says, and he says, but it's annoying to invest in a series that gets canceled after 10 issues.
Yeah.
So I agree. And you know what? I wouldn't even mind if they said, this is a 10-issue series. This is our plan. And that's that. I hate when they are not descriptive of what it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they're trying to say, oh, we're coming up with this series. And we'll say that maybe it was meant for 10 issues. Or, we'll first say it's ongoing at first, and they leave it very vague.
Yeah, I'd rather they tell us it's a limited thing and then it continues. Like, oh, we're going to give it 5 more issues like a TV show does.
Or like Poison Ivy did.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like a TV show gets like 6 or 13 episodes or whatever. And they're okay, we're going to give it a full season. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'd rather that than let's just cancel this and not tell you until you read it, like Kat said earlier.
Joshua Williamson was a good example because I think his Green Arrow was only supposed to be 6 issues, and then you could tell where the 6 issues was, and then he continued it, and it made for good arc. So, I just think we need to be a little smarter with it and also understand what people are going to buy. Because I agree, if you cancel a story midway, like Exceptional X-Men is a good example. I don't know if we're ever going to get more of that series. It's still up in the air, and it ended in a way where I'm like, oh, it felt like this book had so much more to say than it did. That's so strange that you're going into this event and it's Kitty Pryde's not even in it. So it's just like, oh, this is weird.
I didn't even realize it was ending.
We don't know. That's the issue.
Okay.
We don't know if it's ending because it ends. It never says it's canceled in the end of that book.
Right.
We don't know what the next series is after this, except, this other exceptional thing. So it's like, we genuinely don't know if it's ending or not.
Gotcha.
I don't know. We will find out as this lists go on if they're gonna like relaunch it or not. But that's like also feels weird that we have to wait 4 months to find out if the book is continuing. Like where most people are probably not gonna want to pick it up after.
Yeah, they'll probably be like, Marvel will probably be like, yeah, well, people probably forgot about this book at this point, But
then also, like, do people forget about Kitty Pryde though? As someone who's such a big X-Men character, like, what do you do with her? I don't think she's in this event at all.
That's crazy.
You never know. You'll have to see and find out. She could pop out of somewhere, like literally.
Literally, she would.
Yeah, especially with an event called Shadows of Tomorrow, you would think you're gonna put Kitty Pryde in this.
You're thinking home. So we'll see. As obviously New York Comic Con is freaking 2 weeks or I think 3 weeks from now. We have as someone who's working New York Comic Con, I'm not ready, but I'm also ready as a fan. So it should be good. It's just the time goes quickly. All right, but before we jump into comics, I do have some comic book news, which I just realized. Let's see if I can share my screen. Hold on.
You need me to share?
Oh, I think I have it. Do I? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There.
So here we go. The Comic Shop is a television show that's on YouTube. It's about a black-owned comic book store and the antics they go through, like an Abbott Elementary show. And we are making a comic anthology about the show. So they use Kickstarter to fund the web show, and now we're making the comic. And we have some really cool people attached to this. Cody Ziegler is part of this. He's writing a story. Stephanie Williams. We got Joe Illidge, really, really cool artists. We have DJ Kirkland. Tango has done the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Just a really, really cool mix of people. Great cover art. You can get stuff signed by the cast. So hopefully you guys are going to check it out and check out the comic, support local, comic book store owners that make TV shows.
It's a good show, and they use an actual comic shop to film it in, which
actual
is also
black-owned
owned
comic shop too. Yeah.
And it's good. There's 4 episodes out, I think, right now. Comes out on Fridays. But yeah, definitely check out the Kickstarter. It's really
Thank you. Yeah, we want to make the book possible, and there's some really, really cool tie-ins to the show. But also, I don't feel like you need to watch the show to enjoy the comic. Although, watch the show because it's free. It's on YouTube. So if you're already on YouTube, go check it out. All right. I think we are going to go into our comic books.
Yes, absolutely. So appreciate everyone that's tuning into the show tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, we're all going to dive into those comic books. If you guys just take a minute and just give this live stream a like, it takes not even a minute. It takes a second, right? Let others know that this is out there. And so let's go talk about some comics now. Let me get onto my screen here. So I'm ready to go. All right, so here we go. So we're going to talk about, before we get into Deadpool Batman issue 1, we're going to talk about Absolute Flash issue 7. So I felt like for issue 7, this book got back on track for me.
Because of the art change too.
Oh,
Like,
the
you
art
just
is
gotta
back
stick
to
to this artist.
It's back to normal. This was the original artist that was on the
Right.
book. And I think this artist complements Jeff Lemire's storytelling really well. And it was just good to kind of see Wally. He's like at a crossroads right now. You know, he doesn't know where to go, where to fit in. And you get to see him maybe possibly join the Rogue. So I thought that was a really cool ending. And obviously they focus a lot on Wally's hunger because, you know, him using the Speed Force, he's burning 1 billion calories. So the dude's starving. But overall, it was a great issue. I liked it for what it was.
I feel like people dog on this series more than I think is necessary.
I'm one of them. I mean, because
me too. Yeah,
the artwork in the previous issues was not very good.
It wasn't even that for me. I mentioned it when we talked about this last, whenever we talked about it last, but just those, like the last, not this issue obviously, but the last like 2 or 3 issues before that were just, it felt like the same thing, you know, over and over again. It was so slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead, Mike. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I'm glad you guys iterated that because I feel like people forgot the beginning though. Like as much as like there's a 2-issue hiccup, like Absolute Batman had 2 issues that were slow, you know, like I feel like people are a little harsher on this book for some reason. Cause obviously you need to pick something that's not a favorite. And I think it is an easy one to pick, but I like it. I thought this issue was really good. And I'm enjoying the writing. I also love Jeff Lemire's writing. It's very much in the style of writing I like. So, but also this art helps so much more. Because maybe you would feel the same way if it's that other artist, but here the art like really breathes really well.
I think it's kind of funny. It's like it's a flash book, and you almost hope for it to go fast because of the character, but yet it's moving very slow.
Yeah,
and that's kind of Jeff Lemire's style of writing.
True.
So, like if you read what is it, Phantom Road, right? Is that what it's called? Yeah, it's like it's a very slow burn type of story as well. But at the end of it, you're always kind of left hanging going, man, I want to read more. It's kind of the same thing with Minor Arcana, right? It's like it's not a very fast moving paced book, but it's just like you're into those stories. But it's different because those are independents and this is the Flash and you want things to move along a little bit, you know?
And also you're learning about characters in Minor Arcana, like you said, that you've never met. So like when there are those character moments, you're like, oh, I've never knew that about that character because I've only known her for 10 issues. With Wally, you kind of know everything there is about the characters. So when it is a little slower, you're like, oh, that's not a character moment. That's just the issue being slow because I already know stuff about Wally.
It's kind of funny though, because you know traditionally Barry Allen is always late to everything, even though he's the fastest man in the world. So it kind of keeps on brand with it in a way. But you all know that with Jeff Lemire, it's like hit and miss for me. Some of his stuff I really like, some of his stuff it's just not for me. But this, it's those couple issues were a little bit slow, but I agree this one got back on track. The art was absolutely fantastic, and I love the progression of this story. I love dealing with this hunger. Grodd's fear of the storm, meeting what I assume is a weather wizard in this issue, and the whole joining the rogues thing, which I think is a nice twist on the character mythos and everything. So just a really good issue this time around.
Cool. I'm glad we all agreed on that one. All right, so here we go. Deadpool and Batman issue 1. This is the crossover that everyone's been waiting for 20 years, and it's Marvel was the one that published this one. The next one is going to be released by DC. And this is it's an anthology book, right? And so it has a lot of different stories. And I think readers that I've never had a book crossover with Marvel and DC before, I think this is a great thing, right? And I think it's good for companies to do this. Obviously not all the time, but I think it's a good thing. Me personally, I am just being honest here. I did not like this at all. I think that when you have something this big, I think you should take a little bit more time and do something different besides your typical like anniversary issue to where it's like a Batman or Spider-Man 700, where we're going to throw in a bunch of miscellaneous stories that don't mean anything. I would love for it to be like a Justice League versus Avengers story or a 6-issue type of thing. Anybody can put a story together for 2-3 pages, right? And the main story, I'm sorry, I'm just sick of freaking Deadpool, right?
They
And
picked the wrong character in that
yeah,
regard.
I think you could have had anybody else in there. This almost reminded me of like the Deadpool Wolverine series. Like it's almost very similar in my eyes. And I just didn't like the story. The story was very unoriginal. It's like Joker's going to take over the city. There's going to be gas that's released and we got to stop it. You know, it was a little bit of a twist in there, which was fine. I thought the artwork was fine, but there was nothing here that was like great. Like I liked some of the stories, like the Green Arrow and Daredevil story. Like for me, that was my favorite story. And I would love to see a full issue of that.
I love the Captain America Wonder Woman story. I
That
would
one was
read
pretty
a
good
whole
too.
series of that
Right.
world where, you know, the Avengers and Justice League were basically meshed together. You know, did all the events together. I'd love that one. But
I loved like the two you mentioned. I really liked Daredevil and Green Arrow because they had fun and had a lot of good references. But Wonder Woman and Captain America felt like something. It felt like it had something to say. It had something to say about the difference between Marvel and DC, because obviously Marvel is a very grounded book and a universe where you go up against Hitler, and Wonder Woman having thoughts about that and having her own perspective, I thought was really, really cool. But I agree with Mike in the regard of I really didn't love the Deadpool and Batman story. I'm just glad I liked all the other stories enough that I enjoyed this issue, because I really liked Jeff and Crypto. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But do I think it was as good as Batman issue 1? No. I think Batman issue 1 was a lot better than this.
Yeah.
So and Deadpool was just the wrong character. And even if Deadpool was the correct character, I thought he was written not well here, because he is a break the fourth wall type guy, and he never really talked to the audience being like, this is such a great moment that Marvel and DC is doing this, and that never really happens. He doesn't know who Batman is, which is very strange.
Yeah, that was
like,
weird. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I didn't hate it, but I totally get both of your points. It's like it was just a story. It wasn't, you know, this fantastic, you know, thing that we've been waiting years and years for. It was a fun little story, but it could have been a lot more. I agree. And reading those backup stories in contrast to it, it's like, yeah, they could have done that, you know. So yeah,
especially the Cap and the Wonder Woman one, because if that was the main story, would we have felt differently? Because I think I would have, because at least then it's you know, you can't progress stories, but at least you have something to say, and that story felt like I had something to say.
Yeah, if that had been the lead story, man, that would have been so fantastic.
Antoine says they should have paired Storm and Wonder Woman. Yeah, that would have been a lot different too. The issue, I think, would have that sold as much? Probably not. So you have to have Batman, but why not Spider-Man? That was like, what's going on here? Wouldn't Spider-Man be the one that you want?
Well, they've done that before. So
yeah, but like this version or Miles Morales.
Yeah, I agree with that. I saw a comment earlier. It said he should have fought Deathstroke, which, you know, I guess because he's kind of loosely based on that. But yeah.
Well, we have the next issue that continues this, right? So we'll have another Deadpool.
It's released
Batman.
from DC, right?
Yeah.
And so you'll get, you know, different writers on that from the DC side. I mean, just in general, it's just like, I don't know. I just would have loved something that meant something. Like, I don't know, the world is falling apart or whatever it is. And then maybe you have the heroes team up together, or just something that was like a full issue that involved more of the universe instead of
it was a throwaway story.
Yeah, just the anthology stuff. It's just like, those stories to me, just like they don't have room to breathe to tell the story. Just as you start to get into it, boom, it's over. Like you have the Rocket Raccoon and the Green Lantern story. It's like 2 pages and that thing is over. Then you get that Frank Miller Batman.
That was
the worst one of the whole.
Like, come on, like seriously. And then, you know, obviously, then you got the big thing with what was it? Logo. I think that's what that's the matchup between Lobo and
Amalgams.
Yeah, and Logan. So, but it's just, I don't know, man. It's just something that they could have done something much better, and I felt like it was just, I hate saying this, but it's like, let's take the easy way out and just come up with short stories, and that's what it is, you know?
Yeah. I mean, based on the characters that they used and the popularity of those characters, it felt more like a cash grab in that way.
Oh, for sure. And I think it might have been better to do, like you said, even if it wasn't all of them combining, but maybe 3 issues where you focused on, again, Wonder Woman and Captain America, or Batman and Deadpool, let's say. But I think for what it was, I enjoyed a lot of the shorter stories and had less real estate, which was interesting because I did like that Rocket Raccoon story for what it was. So I think that's interesting. But like you said, like obviously you want this to be the biggest of the big, and it's just like, again, especially on Marvel side, I think sometimes it feels like they're just like, oh, let's just do this for the money, you know, and not actually think about the storytelling behind, not storytelling, because obviously storytelling is not bad, but you know, how do you, like the perfectionism, I guess. I want perfectionism sometimes in these books, and I'm not getting that as much.
Yeah, people pay a lot of money for this. I mean, this
you want to make fans.
$7 book. There's all these variants and everything else. And don't get me wrong, like some of the variant covers were gorgeous. Like I think I bought a few of them because I really like them. And that's fine. Like I don't have a problem with variant covers. I just feel like if there's something out there that you want to buy, right, and you like that particular cover, then go for it. And if you want to buy multiple covers, that's your prerogative. I mean, that's what they're there for, you know.
So the original crossover 95, which one was that? Because they're all jumbling together to me. I know there was the amalgam one, and I know there was JLA Avengers, but that was later, right?
I don't know if the JLA
I don't remember either.
I think the amalgam one was first.
Yeah, the amalgam one was first.
Right.
So, oops.
I read them all in back issues, so I didn't even know when they came out.
I got JLA Avengers.
Oh,
I have the JLA Avengers in single issues.
Yeah, me too.
Same.
And
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got all 4 of those. That was good. It could have been better, but it was good. I mean, George Perez and everything. So
Wolverine and Batman was a good one too. That would have been a cool team up.
I would have.
And Wolverine's obviously popular.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
No.
You know. Oh well. Well, we'll see what happens when the DC one comes out. I'm still gonna buy it. It's not like I'm not gonna buy it. I still think it's a fun idea.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, again, you hope for something a little bit better when you don't get this too often. You know what I'm saying? And you want fans to be disappointed by it.
Yeah.
This was an interesting comment saying it's not even a spec book. That was something that was really interesting going into the store, is how busy it was of people you would not see because they all thought this was going to be a spec book, and all the regular customers like kind of cackling to themselves thinking like they're going to make so many copies of this book. That's not what. And it was funny because the DCKO preview ashcan was right in the front. And I was like, see, that's actually what's going to be worth money one day, is that ashcan, and not the DC versus Marvel book. And the manager at my store said I did it on purpose.
My store opened.
I want to put the ashcan right there.
My store opened like an hour early last Wednesday for this book, though. You know, so
yeah. I mean, it brought people in, and hopefully people are staying. That's all we care about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, so good talk there. So that all goes in with the the sales of DC and everything else. So it's good. I'm happy we had that conversation. All right, so then let's dive into our number 5. So I'll start with Kat first. What was your number 5?
Mine's Fantastic Four issue 3. I've been really liking this volume, and I'm not even reading The One World Under Doom, and I still had a fun time with this, of them going up against Doom. I really like the character work here. Humberto Ramos really fits well for this book. I also like, it does feel like one and done adventures each time, but it also feels like it's building towards something. I just think it's well paced. It's I'm now understanding what people were saying about that previous run towards the end. Because it was like Fantastic Four is great, and I remember reading the first couple issues and being like, "Oh, I didn't love it." But now with this, I'm understanding what people really liked.
It's a pretty good series. Like I like it. This issue I didn't like as much as the previous issue, but because it still does tie into the One World Under Doom stuff, and I'm kind of like, I'm at the point now with One World Under Doom where I'm like, all right, I'm ready to move on from this event. It's been going on for like the entire year. And it's just like, this book doesn't always connect to the One World Under Doom. and now all of a sudden it's like heavily involved in it again. So
I'm
but
sure
it
it
was a
doesn't help
good
that you've
issue.
been reading it too, because I have not read One World Under Doom since issue 1. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't have to deal with it every single month or whenever it comes out. So I'm sure it doesn't help feeling bogged down by that event.
Right. Did you read it, Brant?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I agree with you. I didn't like this issue as well as the first couple, but I did like the way that they kind of outsmarted Doom and
Yeah.
all that. So, but I agree. It's because all the One World Under Doom stuff, which I'm actually behind. I think I'm a couple issues behind the main series.
I think this issue that most recently came out wasn't that strong, but the issue before was actually really good because it kind of reveals like where Doom was getting all his power from. So it was that was really cool.
Yeah,
to find that out.
Right. So, but no, it's a fun series. Fantastic.
Okay. All right. So what is your number 5 then, Brent?
My number 5 is Predator Kills the Marvel Universe issue number 2. So
that was a pretty good issue. It didn't make my top 5, but I did like it. My only issue that there was like I felt like not enough happened, but a lot happened at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally get that. Yeah, it's I was teetering between like 3 or 4 books that are kind of teetering around that 5 spot. So it's one of those things. But I like that they kind of systematically took out the Fantastic Four, kind of comparing them to the like the brain of the Earth. They took out Magneto. They were taking all the heavy hitters, which I thought was smart. And it was just it's just like I don't know. The first issue was a little bit stronger because I think more happened in that one.
Yeah.
But this one, I don't know how to explain it. I think you did a better job of explaining what it's kind of weird because a lot, like you said, a lot happened, but not a whole lot of progression.
It's like you're
I
seeing
think
all
there's
the
too many
major
characters. There's just
There
too
are a
much
lot
they're
of
trying to
characters.
do.
Yeah.
right. You're seeing all these major players like being taken off the board, right? And that's what's kind of happening. And so you just go from like the Fantastic Four to the X-Men to the next group to the next group, and then that's it. That's kind of like the book in a nutshell. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Had they had more real estate to work with, we could have probably seen a little bit more out of each one of those characters building up to that. But it was just like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. But I like the systematic takedown of all these heroes.
Yeah. The Magneto one was good because it was like the opening one, and it's just like, oh dang, like you can take out Magneto that easily. Like that's tough right there, man. So we'll see what happens.
I don't think it's as strong as Spider-Man, but we'll see where it goes.
I agree.
Yeah, the Spider-Man one was good because again, it's not an entire universe; it's just one character. So that was.
That's what I don't love about these events, but we'll see. I think I'll get the next because the art's pretty good and like it's a fun series.
All right, and then my number 5, I was flip-flopping between a few books myself, but I decided to give it to this one because this is a new series, and this was Leah Williams' Voyeur.
It's Ignition, right?
Yeah, from Ignition.
Yeah, I didn't get to read that one. I read Murder Podcast, but I didn't.
Yeah, so this
Murder
one.
Good?
Yeah, I liked Murder Podcast.
Yeah, Murder Podcast was pretty good. Yeah.
Especially for you, Brent, who kind of likes the murder mystery stuff. I actually think you'd like it a lot. And there's like a good ensemble in it too.
Cool.
So what Voyeur is about, it's about this guy who's like head of security at this high scale resort. And it took him a while to get to this job. Now you find out that while he's on this job, right, that he is this he wants to steal very expensive paintings. And so this place has quite a few of them, right? But while he's doing this, he finds this woman that he's attracted to. And since he's the head of security, he's watching her on the cameras, right? And so he's watching her wherever she goes. And the next thing you see is she looks up at the camera and she does this. And she knows that he is watching her. And so what happens is she's something that we didn't expect in the comic. And she wants to join him in his mission of stealing these these very expensive paintings. So very interesting comic book.
Yeah, sounds like something I would probably get into.
Yeah, it's good, and like I said, Leah Williams writes it, so it's a very interesting book. It doesn't bog you down by any like intense dialogue or anything, but I liked it. I thought it was a good read, and I think Ignition's off to a good start. They got a couple of good books going for them.
Yeah, I was about to say everything I've read, as far as descriptions from their books seem really solid so far. So.
All right, so let's talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones, issue 1. Yeah. So I did read this actually digitally. I'd even cover it on Worthy Ones because I read it after the fact because I was like, oh, it's Casey Jones. I'm like, let me see what this is. There wasn't enough here for me that
I agree.
I read so much that there was like, I don't need Casey Jones in my life right now,
Yeah, this felt like this could have been, 2 or 3 pages in the main series. You could have just done like a little side story of Casey.
Story arc, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't have to be its own thing. And it at the same time, if you are going to do a spin-off into one of the main characters of a book or one of the main like supporting characters of the book, this is the way to do it. So if you're a huge Casey Jones fan, you're getting an extended version of a story of him. So that's really cool for all those Casey Jones fans. But I agree with you. It wasn't enough for me. I felt like the villains in the story weren't big enough to justify this breakout story. I like Casey. I like Timothy. But it was really, the Turtles were in the book. April was in the book. It just felt like another Turtles book.
Yeah.
Instead of a Casey Jones book. So, yeah.
And it was him trying to recover from this injury that he had, and he forces himself to go out on the town and things like that. And so, but it wasn't anything there where I was like, I like the Shredder book more than the Casey Jones book.
I agree because it was something different. This just felt like, oh, this is just another Turtles story, just, focusing on Casey for a minute. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
It didn't feel like a Casey Jones story. Yeah, I agree.
Right. I mean, I could say that if you're a big fan of Casey Jones,
yes, absolutely,
check it out. And if you don't have that much to read, check it out. Unlike us,
it wasn't bad. Yeah.
No, it's not. It is very average.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. So now we'll talk about the Amazing Spider-Man issue 12. This is like one of the first books I read for the week. So here we got to see what was it? You got to see Norman Osborn meet up with the Spider crew, and this Spider family, I guess you could say, is like trying to get answers, and they figure out that it's Norman, and Norman kind of comes to I guess it was like an epiphany where he has to do better, can't give in to rage or something like that. I think that's what it was, right? And then you still got what's his face in it?
Kingsley's in it, the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, Roderick Kingsley's in it. He winds up getting released from he's innocent, go figure, out of anybody in there. And what does he come across at the end? Is it a Spider Slayer?
Let me look. I don't remember.
There's a mystery villain in there.
It looks like it's a Spider Slayer.
And it looks like it was a Spider Slayer in there.
Yeah. And then you had a little bit of Ben in there as well.
That's what I was asking, if it was Ben that was in there too.
At work, and he didn't remember like stories he was supposed to know.
That's what it was.
Friend. Yeah.
And his friend Brian was like all depressed because he's like, what's wrong with Peter?
Right.
And he was kind of an ass to him. He's just kind of like, well, you can't live in the past. You got to live in the present.
Right. And then you had Jay Jonah with his podcast interviewing somebody that was supposed to be an expert on
Hellgate.
Yeah.
That's
right. Had that little bit that opened the issue.
Yeah.
So you had a lot going on in this.
I like that we didn't have John Romita Jr. because it showed, and also and focusing on Norman, because I genuinely feel like he's been the best part of Amazing Spider-Man in the past couple of years. So that's why this was like a decent issue. You got the other Spider people, you had Norman, you had good art. Like again, it wasn't my top 5, but it was decent. It was better than what I've been getting.
Absolutely, agreed.
Yeah. The Mike Manhattan said it was Norman Osborn. He goes, I'm something of a web swinger myself. And then Lewis says Gwen shows up. So that's kind of what set Norman off.
That's right.
Remember?
Yeah. And he's like, it's always her.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, it was good, and then there was no Peter Parker in this issue, right? There was
No,
not
not
in
at
this
all.
one.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So
I
the
don't know how
next
they're
one we're
breaking that
going.
apart. They're doing it issue by issue, like you're
I
saying.
think they're alternating it.
Yeah, it seems like it.
That's
Yeah.
crazy to me, but I guess because it's bi-weekly, I
Yeah.
guess fine.
Yeah.
And Ed McGinnis, yeah. So like we said, John Romita Jr. wasn't on it. It was Ed McGinnis that did the artwork in here, so that was fine too. So if you're going to get Pepe Larraz that does the next issue, I'm fine with that. I mean, I have no issues with that. So that's good. So we'll see what happens. And when does Peter Parker come back to Earth? You know,
We'll see.
It's going to be interesting. All right. So now we go on to our number 4, and I'll kick it off with Brant this time. What was your number 4?
Mine was actually Miles Morales, issue 38, I think it was. This was Misty Knight, and Black Cat taking on these new villains, or actually teaming up with them by the end of the issue to take on this new wannabe gangster. I feel like these past couple of issues with Black Cat, the book's kind of gotten back on track for me. It took a little detour with the Anansi stuff that I wasn't really into, but this seems more like what we were getting at the beginning of the series and stuff. So I really like the team up with Black Cat here, and we got this new White Cat character and this girl that controls these like ghostly foxes, which that's kind of cool. They're kind of interesting characters, and so yeah, fun issue, and the art was really nice in this too. So
glad you liked it. I did buy this and I did read this, and I still couldn't get into it.
Okay.
Like I felt because I didn't read the last story arc at all. And so
you're
when
kind of
I
disconnected to it now.
Yeah, I was disconnected. I couldn't get into it, and I'm like, oh wow, we got these characters, which I can appreciate what they're trying to do, because we've always said we need new characters, we need new adversaries. Miles needs to be his own character.
Yeah.
But at the same side, I was just kind of like, don't really care about these guys. And then I was like, and then Black Cat's in here now, and it's just like, I don't know, it seemed just a little bit off. And I almost feel like, and this is just my opinion, this could be just me, I almost feel like now, like Cody Ziegler's trying almost too hard on this title. He's trying to give Miles all these different powers and all these different things, and trying to put in all these different characters. And I feel like we're almost starting to forget what Miles is and where he came from.
I could see that point. At the same time, I feel like this 2-issue arc so far kind of did what the beginning of the series, where we got his, like you said, entering new characters into his kind of rogues gallery or whatever.
Right.
I felt like we were getting back to that kind of thing. Whereas that last arc, I didn't read all of it either. I kind of dropped off and picked back up with the Black Cat story.
Right.
So I get your point there. But this felt more like that. Like, okay, we're going to build up his world and introduce all these characters. It almost seemed like this Inari, I think was her name, might be a new love interest for him too, even though he's got the Vulture's granddaughter and all that stuff.
Right.
He seemed to kind of be interested in her a little bit.
I mean, I almost feel like this book now is like suffers the same thing that like Laura Kinney Wolverine did, where it was like it's almost like a team up book. We always have somebody teaming up with him.
Yeah, because you had the Daughters of the Dragon and Black Cat, and now you got these characters he's teaming up with as well.
Misty Knight's in it, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I get it. You got to have a supporting cast, but your supporting cast doesn't have to be superheroes.
True. Yeah. I did like the scene where Felicia and Misty show up to pick Miles up from school in front of all his friends.
That, for me, that was the best part of the whole book.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. And Gonki gets left behind.
He was like, it should have been me.
Should have been me. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Absolute Flash. We already talked about it.
Okay. That was very, very quick. Sorry, Kat.
At least it was Flash and it was quick.
My number 4 was Exquisite Corpses issue 5. Not as strong as the last issue, just because of the characters that were in this one that were used. Because they're not my favorite ones in the tournament so far. But it was still a really good book to see what happens to those characters. And I like how this one really continued from the last one, as we dealt with the used car salesman and like his coworker trying to escape from the fight from last time.
Right.
And what happened to that guy? Oh my gosh. I was like, what the heck, dude? That's totally insane, you know?
Oh man. I didn't get to read this, and I tried to get it digitally, but the digital version doesn't come out till tomorrow. I was like, oh
Geez,
man.
yeah. So read it, you'll like it.
Yeah.
It's good. I just like the last issue a lot better, personally.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, all right. So now we're gonna move on forward here to Marvel Zombies Red Band Edition. So me and Kat read this one. Brant didn't read this one.
I think
What
that's
did you think?
Yeah, no, I don't know what I was expecting, because obviously it's just a Marvel Zombies book, but I just didn't get anything out of this. I thought the artwork could have been stronger. I don't think there was that much to play with here, except that they're turning into zombies. It just is so forgettable to me. I didn't love it. And I'm surprised, because it's the same writers as Kill Your Darlings. So I was excited for it, but I couldn't get into this one.
Yeah, this was a Marvel Zombies that took place in the Silver Age. That's when this happened, when the Fantastic Four takes off in the spaceship and the rocket, and they come back home, and then they're zombies.
Spider-Man
right?
too.
But the thing is like
Spider-Man.
they're smart zombies. They still can talk. They can still do everything, but they just have this hunger to take over and eat people, right?
Gotcha.
This is a Red Band book, and this book did have gore. But the problem is the art wasn't as strong as I thought that it could have been to really get that gore factor, right? So if you looked at Punisher, that book had a lot of like grotesque things going on. And when you have a Marvel,
stronger too,
right? And when you have a Marvel zombie book where you focus on zombies eating people, you want it to be as gory and gross as it can possibly be, especially since you advertise it as a Red Band edition. And to me, the art just missed the mark there. You know what I'm saying? So, and it did have Spider-Man in there before he was Spider-Man, before Uncle Ben died and all that stuff, when he was in the wrestling circuit. And then you just get to see these zombies everywhere. You know, I don't think it was, I'm not going to say it's like the worst book ever, but I was definitely disappointed with it in my personal
opinion. It
opinion.
didn't get me enough to want to get issue 2.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pass too.
Especially because you had Predator versus the Marvel Universe come out the same week. And again, neither, at least this issue for me, from the Predator one was okay. I'm not saying it was top 5 material, but I think because the art is so much stronger for the other one and the kills feel a little bit more distinct, I'd rather pick up that than pick up Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, I don't typically get the Marvel Zombie stuff, and I'm glad I didn't, because if I'd known it was that creative team, I probably would have.
That's why I picked it up. Yeah.
So, yep, just a little bit disappointing there. All right, so let's move on here. We're going to talk about G.I. Joe issue 11. So this is a Brant and I book for sure.
Yeah.
And so this is an issue where it wraps up. This was a little story arc, but it accomplishes a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot of story threads that were going on in here with, Major Blood, the Baroness, and CoverGirl. And then there was another story going on with Clutch and Hound. And then there was another story going on with Destro and Cobra Commander. And everything got wrapped up really well. You never felt overwhelmed by the story. It never felt rushed. And it just closed it off really nice to where you were like, wow, that was great,
Yeah.
But the biggest part of the story was obviously the Baroness and CoverGirl.
Yeah.
What was going to happen? Was the Baroness going to turn evil in this?
Which was the assumption. Yeah.
Right. And she, at the end, remains a Joe, and that's what's going to happen. And what happens with Major Blood?
Oh man, I didn't see that coming,
dude. I was like, what's going to go on with him now?
Yeah.
And then at the end, it leaves you with a great cliffhanger, because it's like, these guys are being the Joes are being watched by Flint and
Night
others.
Force, which I thought was cool. A cool way to bring in Night Force. It's a totally different version of Night Force, but Flint, Lady J, and Beachhead, I think it was, and then they were going to recruit a new member that's going to show up next issue. So Yeah, no, it's a really solid issue. I loved like the dynamic between Baroness and CoverGirl and how they were there for each other. And then like when everybody came back, like I think it was Clutch and Risk, and then Baroness and CoverGirl all came back, and Duke's like, where have you been? What have you been up to? Oh, it's good. We're cool. And just don't tell him anything. And he's like totally in the dark about everything that happened.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
like, is that like a black eye? Do you have like stitches? Yeah. What
right. Did you
stays
get
in
shot?
Paris? Yeah. What happens in Paris stays in Paris. Like it was just like, it was really funny.
Yeah. It was so good though. And Major Blood, like you said, man, what's he gonna do now?
What are
what's
they gonna
happen
put? They're
with
gonna
that?
probably put some like robotic eyes in him or
Cybernetic eye,
something
yeah,
like
or
that.
something.
Yeah. It's like he's becoming more and more like robot like than anything,
He'll be one of the people they experiment on, because they kind of tease that with Destro and Cobra Commander.
Yeah. So put him in that tube.
Yeah.
One of the characters looked like Storm Shadow in there or something like that.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Maybe they were red ninjas from his
I
clan
don't
or
know.
something.
Yeah, they looked like some kind of
Night
ninjas or
Sweepers.
something in there.
Remember
I
the
don't
Night
know.
Sweepers?
It was hard to tell. But yeah, their dialogue between each other was really good too.
Yeah, for sure. Just a really solid book.
Absolutely. All right, so we're gonna move on now to our number 3. And let's see if I can get Kat to talk about an issue this time. What's your number 3?
No, I did put Deadpool and Batman. So
yeah, she liked it, huh?
I will say this week I didn't love my books, so I don't think in another week I would have had in my top 5. I liked my top 2, so I'll say my top 2 I liked, but it's a shame that we couldn't make last week because I really liked my books last week.
I'll reveal that that Deadpool Batman was one of the 2 or 3 that I was considered for number 5. It just didn't make the cut. So it's one of those weeks.
Another week. Well, for you guys, it seems like it was one of those weeks in a positive way that you had a strong top 5.
I had a strong top 5.
The G.I. Joe, you had
a strong top 4.
Ultimates came out. There's like a lot of books that I don't read that you guys do read. So
Ultimates
I'm
did
not
not
completely
make
surprised. I'm guessing we'll get there. But mine was Deadpool and Batman. So
all right. So what was your number 3, Brant?
Mine was Absolute Flash. So we already talked.
Okay. All right. And then mine was actually Battle Beast issue.
That was
5.
the other one that was considered for number 5.
So yeah, Battle Beast was good because you got the origin story of the prince.
Is it almost over? It's a mini series, right? Or is it?
I'm not sure because it
I don't
seem
know.
like it's ending.
Well, maybe it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's ending. It might be because I don't know what happens after they battle this Juggernaut character.
I think it is. The last issue is October.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it was good just to learn about this character's like origin story and how he was this prince and he was supposed to protect the kingdom when he was getting attacked, and then bad things happened, and now he's trying to get back into it again and avenge his kingdom and whatnot. And it's just a fun book, dude. I really like it. I like all the character interactions in here and just the grotesque part of it. And I feel like Battle Beast has grown a little bit of a heart. I think he called someone his friend at one point in this issue too.
Yeah, he called Prince Talaka his friend.
Yeah.
The solicitation text for it says end of story arc. So
so he's just taking like a big hiatus, which makes sense with the creators on it. So
I guess we'll see. But yeah, no, I like this issue too, and like you said, he's coming around. He's making friends now. He was like, you squished my friend. He like paused it too. He's like, my friend.
Yeah,
it's like a revelation to him in the process too. So yeah,
I heard that Skinbreaker that comes out tomorrow is going to be very like Battle Beast-esque, which I'm interested in because I was not into Battle Beast, so I'm excited for the Skinbreakers. So we'll say.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that a little bit.
The other moment that was in this book too is like Battle Beast goes into really good detail about what he goes through on a daily basis about controlling his
primal rage.
His primal instincts and his anger and his hunger issues and all these different things. So it was like it dove a little bit deeper into the character too.
Yeah. I want to mention this comment that they heard it was filler and totally derailed the momentum. And I would say that last issue was a little bit slower because it focused more on Prince Salaka and all that stuff. But I think this one picked back up. You know, you got a little bit of the Prince Salaka background too in this one, but it kind of flowed into the story with Battle Beast in the present day. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yep.
And that
Nice.
makes sense. Someone, because I was looking
Yeah.
at League of Comics to see when it was releasing, they were saying, "Oh, should I be worried it's not in December?" But if it's 3-month break, then it'd probably be January that's solicited next.
Yeah. That's good. And I almost mentioned that earlier, like we were talking about Marvel and stuff. And I was like, I almost wish they would take that kind of approach,
Right.
like companies like Image do, where you just take the break, announce the break, you know, and then we're good. So, but, yeah.
I agree. Like I look at like, even Boom. I think Minor Arcana had like a 3-month break, and
Yeah.
I hardly noticed. I was like, I got into
Right.
the book right away, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm here. Like I'm reading it.
All right. So obviously we just talked about Battle Beast. So we'll talk about Ultimates issue 16. Brad said he didn't like the book. I actually liked the book.
I just
I
said it
actually
didn't make my top 5. I didn't love it, but yeah.
I
What
liked
did you
it.
like about it? Yeah.
Okay, so I liked my biggest thing lately is it's been doing has been introducing characters, right?
Exactly.
And so in this one it does, but it doesn't introduce a hero. It introduces a person on the outside, a person that believed in their movement. So this
Yeah.
was a grounded character. This
True.
was not a hero, and that's what I liked about it. And I like
Yeah.
seeing her story on her believing in their movement and her living in fear the entire time of her being taken away. I like that. Like her best friend got taken away.
Yeah.
Then the hand comes and they blow up her parents like right in front of her. And then
Yeah.
she's on the run. And I loved all that stuff. Like I thought that was actually really, really well done.
I just, in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, is she going to become a hero later on? And so in my mind, I was already like, oh, this is just another character introduction. So I
Right.
couldn't get past that. I
Right.
get what you're saying. And I do like the idea that there's this underground resistance. And at the end of the issue, they do say this is much bigger than you could imagine. And so now we're going
Right.
to hopefully go in next issue and see, you know, some kind of continuation of that. And hopefully it surprises me then.
Right.
But
I mean,
this
I
one,
guess.
yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I just mean that, like, I feel like that it shows you how big the movement is for
Yeah.
the Ultimates themselves, where we always focused on the heroes themselves. You got to see the outside world. And that's not something we've seen in this Ultimate universe at all, really.
Yeah, true. Somebody
You
said
know.
Ultimate Night, I get because she got her hand cut off, I guess. But yeah. So I mean, it wasn't a bad issue. It just I want more from this book. You know,
I
it was
get
so
what you're
good.
coming from because
Yeah,
it's been like ever since they announced we're the Ultimates 3.0, it's
Exactly.
like we're going to load up the Ultimates to this huge, gigantic team. So when the maker comes,
yeah,
we're ready for him. It's not going to
Right.
be just this small band focusing on Iron Lad and Captain America.
right. Yeah.
It's Avengers Endgame for the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. All right. So now we're going to move on to number 2. And my number 2 was Ultimates issue 16. So that was just
wow.
perfect. Yep. So Kat, what was yours?
Mine was the Seasons issue 8. I really like this issue. It finally explains the thesis of what this book's about, and it's the idea of how you see art and how you give it to the world. And we get to see it through the sisters' eyes, and we get to see what the carnival was all about. Because this has been a little bit of a slower series, so it was nice to finally like figure out what it's about. So I liked it a lot. I thought, finally got to the point.
I read the issue too. This book lost me now. I think
Understandable.
Since the last issue, like I liked learning about the girls. And then I was like, oh, I want to know more about the circus. And then finally, when we got to the circus last issue, I'm like, oh, I don't like the circus. I'm like, I want to go back to the girls. You know what I'm saying?
I felt we got in this
and I felt
issue.
like in this issue, we got more of that because it focused on breaking the curse for summer, and now it's focusing on winter now, right? So that
which I liked. I liked the juxtaposition of like how they saw each other, because Summer was very obsessed with people loving her and her art and her being her art. And then with Winter, she was more
about her art itself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's why she was able to kind of break the curse, because she's like, I don't really care if anyone likes her, if they don't. Which I thought was interesting. And we'll see where it goes. Obviously we have to see. This also feels like a series kind of wrapping up. I don't know if I'm going to read this for 25 more issues, but like, I think if we have like
it's 12, coming to an end, right?
Yeah. I think so. I don't know where else you could go with it, but I think like 12 issues would be solid.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's see. What do you got, Brent?
G.I. Joe. So we are
G.I. Joe.
Yep.
Yo, Joe, baby. All right. So, and let's see. We talked about Predator versus the Marvel Universe, and now we got to talk about Justice League Red issue 2. I'm curious to hear what you think about it. I'm after reading 2 issues now, I'm like, this series is very mid for me.
It from the outside looking in, it feels like a mid-series, which is why I've never really. It feels like something that might be, end pretty quickly. But I'm not reading it, so I can't say.
I can't see it lasting very long. It is very mid. The only thing that keeps me possibly on the hook is introducing Red Canary at the end of this issue, and it's like, oh, that's where we're going, because I like
part of the team.
Yeah, I liked that character. I liked the introduction of that character when she first showed up, and now that she's integral to the plot of the story, it's like, oh, okay, maybe it's gonna be interesting. I don't know though, because I didn't like any of the rest of the issue. It was just like, okay,
yeah.
I mean, they finally confront.
It took a long time to get to the point of what they were trying to get to in this issue,
right? Because their frustration not getting the answer from Red Tornado was my frustration reading it, trying to get the answer from this whole series. Yeah, what it was about. But so it was a little bit of a frustrating read. But if it's a big week, I would probably skip this. So.
It's only 6 issues, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, do you hang out for it?
Right. And it kind of boggles my mind, because you're still trying to put together a team, and we're already halfway through this series, right? So like, what's the main goal here out of all of this, So I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'll have to make a decision also, Brant, if I'm going to continue to read this or not. I'm not sure yet.
When you get to that 6-issue type of miniseries, once you get to 3 and 4, you're like, well, I should just finish it because I've gotten to this point. So you gotta,
now would be the
time
point.
To make decision.
Exactly. All right. So we are at that time for our number 1 picks of the week. And honestly, Brand, I am surprised you did not pick G.I. Joe as your number 1. So I want to know what your number 1 is.
I want to see too, because I might feel like maybe we might have the same one.
Maybe. Mine's Runaways.
Mine too.
It
was a really good issue.
It's such a good issue. Last issue we left off with Nico possibly using magic, which she can't do because she doesn't have her staff anymore, right? And so part of this issue was Gert trying to convince her that she has magic again, and them figuring out that they have magic when they bond together. And so Gert is the key to her magic now, which is really interesting. And so they explore that a little bit. You have Carolina and Alex coming back into the picture. You have some tension between Chase and basically everybody. There was so much going on, but it didn't feel overwhelming. It felt like there was all these little character moments that you got built up. And at the same time, you have Doombot basically sacrificing himself to save the team at the end of it. So
saying very nasty things to the team, which was very fun. It's like, you got to work on this and that. But no, I agree. It's like classic Runaways, and only I feel like Rainbow has been able to get since Brian K. Vaughan finished. And this is what I mean is like when Rainbow's at her best and why I hate when she has miniseries, because she's really good at building things up. So that last issue was very point A to point B. It's like, oh, that's a shame that we're building that. But then we get to this issue and you're like, that's why she did it. And it's such a perfect issue. And I that's what I mean from what I'm talking about with Marvel. It's like, give different types of titles, because this is going to cater to an audience that isn't reading Spider-Man, isn't reading maybe other titles, and you're gonna get different readership. And I love this book. I think the art's really good. And it also, like we said, it feels like it could do anything, because it can. You could like have freaking Carolina go into space for 7 months, and it doesn't matter, you know, because it's like you could do whatever you want, and that's what's so fun and exciting, is like great character moments, big moments, and it's Rainbow at our best. I really like this issue too.
Oh, it's such a strong issue. And when Chase comes back and he's like arguing with everybody, he's like yelling at Molly because she's on Click Clock when she's not supposed to have it. And, you know, Alex is trying to save everybody, but everybody hates Alex. And it's just so much. You know, it felt like you're watching this group of friends, and not, you know, frenemies and different things, just kind of, you know, deal with life in a superhero world. So it's just, really good.
Good stuff. I'm glad. I was curious to see if it was going to be on your list and when it was. I was like, I think it might be your number one. I'm sure you thought the same for me. So it's very good. We do have a question. Oh, I will say we won't be talking about Red Hood, but to the political point. But I'll say from the comic point, I wasn't going to pick up issue 2 anyways. I didn't love the issue, but we'll not be touching the political point of it.
I did like it, and so that's all I'm going to say. I like the story for what it was, and there you go.
Then the only thing I'll say about it is just like I felt like it could have worked as an indie book. That's the way I looked at it.
Okay,
I can see that. Fair. The art was good. I actually like the art, and the only thing else I'll add is that it's really a shame that Batman Hush didn't finish before, because it also felt out of sorts that it was connected to Batman
Superman
Hush.
Unchained Part 2.
Yeah, no, seriously. And guess what? Same artist. So you got to really bag those issues before you release them with that, because it's like at this point, who cares, you know, about Batman Hush? Honestly, again, I'm reading it just because I want to finish the collection at this point. But like story wise, I didn't really like the story that much anyways.
Real quick, my number one was G.I. Joe. So that was my pick of the week right there overall. So freaking fantastic book overall.
Yeah, my top 2 were really strong. I love both of them.
All right. So now we'll pass it over to Mr. Fowler over here, and you're going to do what our most anticipated books are of the week.
Which I think it's another big week. Like, I think there's a lot of comics tomorrow. Yeah.
30 books.
Also, I don't have that much, thankfully.
They're on my pull list, and I don't know if there's going to be any more. Like, but there's 30 that I know for sure that I'm getting, and I'm like, this is probably the biggest week of the year for me.
If you've got 30, it's probably going to be pretty big for me too. I don't remember, so I'll have to look. But
I even tried to look to see if there was anything I could cut.
Yeah,
I legitimately know. Like, everything there is like a lot of new number ones coming out. A lot of the series that I usually read, I read. You know, there wasn't anything there that I think the only book that I decided to pass was Mortal Thor.
Really?
Because I was like, there's 30 books here. I got to cut something.
Yeah.
And you know what? It might wind up being in my box anyway, because I could have put it on the FOC, not realizing how big of a week this was going to be.
Right. I'm just kind of glimpsing, and man, that's a lot of books. Yeah. Okay.
I remember having to make cuts too. I remember being like, I would normally pick that, but
I might have to make some cuts too. All right, so getting into most anticipated, we talked about it a couple times throughout the show. Skinbreaker number 1 is the one book that's on all 3 of ours. It is our number 3, and it's Kirkman, it's Finch, you know, superstar team, but it's a fantasy book, which I don't know if you're gonna like, Kat.
No, I don't want to say I'm prepared to not like it, because like we said, it's a great creative team, and I don't love going to comics like that, but I'll say it's working against me.
Yeah, of course. I would understand it, is all I'm saying.
It's just, I'm looking forward to the David Finch artwork.
Yeah, it's going to be gorgeous art.
Yeah. That's like, remember when he did Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
And then when he did, what was that independent book that I think he drew? Was it Rose? Was it called Rose or something like that? It was like Image. It was from Image.
I know. I think so, because I know Meredith Finch wrote it.
She wrote that one too, right?
Yeah. I feel like he might have done the art for it.
He did. I believe he did. Yeah. Let's see. I think it was called Rose, wasn't it?
God dang,
Yeah,
that
I'm
was
pretty
like
sure.
ancient ago. How I would even
Wow.
remember that, I don't even know.
I don't even know if it finished either. It's like one of those indie books. I don't know if it had like an ending or not, or if it just kind of disappeared because I don't really remember the ending.
Yeah, it has been a while, but yeah, it was called Rose. Anyway.
But yeah, David Finch is great. I mean, looking forward to that and gonna keep an open mind. And also, it's the comic book store has definitely been promoting it too. Like, it seems like they've been having a lot of initiative. Like, here is the poster. Like, let's
There's
make sure people
also
buy
a
it. So.
treasury edition for this too.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
and how long is that?
It's this same book, but it's just bigger. So it's
Oh, right, it's the
oversized.
big
And it's
one.
like
Yeah,
it's
so
like
it's
$10, $15. Yeah.
$15.
I'll say
Yeah.
I can't. I know there's. It's funny. There's 2 customers at the comic book store that buys them, and they in my stores. Like, we know those are the ones for you guys, and they like just buy 2 because I'm like, I don't know if I could put that anywhere unless it's like a Spider Girl issue 1. I don't think I'm getting
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for sure. All right,
That's the new thing though, and people like it, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, Mike's got a giant book over there that he
I'll
showed earlier in the show. So
say for Absolute Batman, it makes a
you
little
go.
bit more sense because I think it's like
Yeah.
such a big one. But Skin Breakers, I don't know.
Normally,
we don't know. It could be
Thing.
Walking Dead. You never know.
Normally not my thing. But just again, there's Absolute Batman's badass. It's a great looking cover.
I hope that was black and white.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing I would do it for is probably either if Spider-Man did something like this or Transformers did something like this.
Yeah. I can see that. All right, so I'm gonna go to my number 2 just because it's not a book I'm looking forward to, but I am anticipating it, which is Battle World issue 1. I'm curious about it. I want to see, what this is about. I don't have high hopes for it. Yeah,
like where does it come from? Like how do they get there? Like
I don't know.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, so we'll see what it's all about. But let's jump to Hyde Street number 9, which I'm actually excited about too. That's Mike's number 2.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Frankenstein, and we got a little bit of tease of him from last issue. So
yeah, man, this book is just so good. It's one of my favorite books out there because it's not just you have all these horror books out there that only do again anthology stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this book though continues to deliver on just this next level where we get all the different characters and you learn about the ins and outs of them. And, obviously they have their mission at hand and every character is so unique and so different. And it's just, I love every single one of them. And the artwork in this book is just amazing. I can't wait for this issue.
Yeah, same. And then, Kat, you got all new Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider issue number 2, which I really like the first issue.
Yeah, I was really impressed by the first issue.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Stephanie Phillips' voice on this character. Again, everything's going against this character that she's in the 616. And they have some crazy things going on, but Stephanie Phillips makes it work. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, again, bringing her dad into this universe, having her start up a band again. So that's fun stuff, and that's familiar stuff. So, hopefully it just gets better and better from here. All right, so let's jump to Black Cat number 2, which
that was close to being on mine.
Yeah, mine too. I just kind of went different because it was more to talk about. But Black Cat 2, I think we all liked Black Cat issue 1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I think now we're going to start to see where the series is going to kind of go. Right. So that's what I'm looking forward to here. There's just love the character. And that's why it was just like my number 1. I'm just looking forward to the entire series.
Yeah. The one I put for number 1 is Void Rivals issue 23. We've got Cobra Law meeting Wheelie. Wheelie, for anybody that doesn't know, is the Transformer that rhymes and talks really fast. And Python, of course, from Cobra Law. So just complete contrasting type of characters.
What did you think of Wheelie in the Because I actually talked about this in my video that came out today. What did you think of Wheelie in the Transformers movie?
In the live action movie?
No.
In the animated movie. Yeah. I was about to say, was he in the live action? I don't remember. He's one of those characters that it's like he's fun. But it can get really annoying really fast. You know what I mean? So
he's the Deadpool of Transformers.
He kind of is. Yeah. He kind of is. So it's going to be interesting to see in written form how that plays out, though, because I don't know how you deliver that as because he talks really fast and he's always right.
Yeah.
So
And it's like, I know when I read that, I'm going to hear that annoying high-pitched voice in my head. And I'm going to be like, God, I hate this guy. And I think maybe that's why I don't like Deadpool. Maybe it's from Wheelie, because I just like, he annoyed me so much. And it's like characters like that, Deadpool, the way Harley Quinn is written right now, like they constantly joke and try to be funny or this rhyming bullshit, and it just gets so old so quickly. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so over that. I hated him in that movie. I was like, and then you get the toy that came out. Dude, I completely remember this. After the movie, we went to the toy store. We looked for new Transformers. Wheelie was there, and I looked at him, and I'm like, he's this little Transformer, right? And then he transforms, and he looks like the crappiest little robot. And I think I hated him for that too. Sorry to go on this tangent about Wheelie. I couldn't stand him in that movie.
But I think that's going to be the funny thing about him interacting with Pythona, who is just this this cool, bad, killer character. That's it's going to be interesting, to see them interact with each other. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to Cats, which I think we're all anticipating. This book, of course, is Ultimate Spider-Man issue 41.
We're also getting really close to the end.
Yeah.
So, and the last issue had a lot of revelations with Gwen. So, I mean, anytime this comes out, it's usually my most anticipated.
Of course.
So,
but this is titled, Cat, like the ultimate showdown to the final for the Sinister Six.
For the Sinister Six, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so like, if this is legitimately the last battle with these guys, and this whole series has been building up to this, where does it go from here? Does it go to the whole Maker situation?
Right.
I'm not sure. I'm curious as well, and I don't know if I wanted to go to the Maker situation as much, because I'm not reading the Ultimates. So I'm just like, I kind of like the little corner that this has been keeping, because as a Spider-Man fan, I'm enjoying it. And when you make it bigger, it's like, not saying that you shouldn't connect it, but it sucks that that's like the last bit of it too.
It feels like there's so many threads we're gonna leave if it just
exactly.
Yeah.
With all the interpersonal stuff,
right? Yeah, you got his son and Felicia and all that stuff going on, and it feels like there's gonna be so much left on the table if we just jump right to the big stuff. So we'll see though.
Yeah, we will see, and when it ends and they bring it back, he'll be curious to see who will write this title. It's hard enough to get someone to write the Amazing Spider-Man. Who's gonna follow?
Maybe Donny Cates, because he's been gone. He's been planning his return.
That would be a genius move. Yeah. I think
you need somebody like that to continue to bring in the sales for that comic book. I definitely think people would pick it up for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And just for his return too, because he hasn't done an indie book at all either. So this would be like his return.
What if he did like a Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman get back on that book?
Dude,
I mean
that maybe make the 500,000. Who knows?
I mean, I would pay money for that.
Yeah,
that would be a
there's
move
no barriers either, and there's no barriers. Do whatever you want with Spider-Man.
Exactly, you can tell his story there.
Yeah. That's best case scenario right there. What?
Create Ultimate Paul.
No.
Could you imagine that? Oh my Lord.
I wouldn't want that.
I need to see what happens to Paul now. Now he's become my soap opera guy.
He's your new She-Hulk.
Exactly. Watch, he'll go after She-Hulk. He'll be like, hey, Jen, you want to go out on a date?
I would like that. I would like to see an MTV book with Paul and just him just trying to date the Marvel Universe.
And we have a love triangle, Jack and Mark, She-Hulk, and Paul.
Instead of Marvel Universe kills or Marvel Zombies, it's
Paul
Paul
dates
dates the Marvel Universe.
I might read that.
I would read that.
I would too. I think that's hysterical. And all the women, and probably like Deadpool, all the women and Deadpool all say no to him.
Oh God, that's hilarious. Oh man. Well, I guess that's it, guys. That's a great way to end off the show for tonight. And it was a overall, I think it was a fantastic show. We had great conversation with, DC and Marvel and Deadpool and Wolverine and Wheelie and Cobra Law and everybody else. And so, yeah, so can't wait to discuss the comic books for next week because it's going to be huge, like we said. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Comic Book Weekly's YouTube channel so you can watch all the episodes. Subscribe to our channels, my channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0, Brant's channel, Only Good Comics, and of course, Catch channel, Comic Uno. And until next week, guys, enjoy your comic books when you get them tomorrow, which is in 5 minutes. So, guys, take care. Have a wonderful night.